So I want to have a look at drilling the holes for the leg assembly that we have on the small stool. The hole is important because there's a number of ways you can kind of get it wrong. It matters that it's in the centre, it matters it's on the correct component, and it matters the diameter of the hole. That is a pilot hole. So the pilot hole basically is the width of the body of the screw and not the screw thread. Alright, if we're not doing a hole at all, when we drive the screw in, it's going to split the wood. We don't want split weakened legs. If we make the hole too wide, the screw will have no way of biting into the wood. So we need to get that right. Now, to find out the width of the body of the screw, we can sit on a vernier caliper and have a measure there, and that one is coming out at 3 millimeters there, okay, not including the screw thread, because including the screw thread in that, it would be just under 4, or it's probably supposed to be a 4. There's a little variation in them. How do I know I've got the right drill bit? Well, I could measure it and find out that I have in there a number 3. However, it is written on every drill bit. Now that is going to go straight in to our 20mm hole, and you can see that on the plans that it's marked with a cross, and that cross and it's saying diameter 4.5, so this was built for a different screw than the one I just measured, but you will choose the right pilot hole. But that little cross there marks a hole. Okay, so it's 20mm in, but we know from when we marked out this curve that we already have a fixing point from the divider where that hole's going to go. So if we have a look at the drill, and notice this drill is set on 16, that torque is way too high. This isn't about speed, it's about the power at which it stops. So I'm going to turn that down to probably more like 8 for straight drilling, and check that it's winding forwards, not winding backwards. Then I've got it sitting on some scrap wood. Now when you're drilling a pilot hole, you could do this in the pillar drill, but it is a job you can do just with your battery drill. If you're going to do it with your battery drill, it matters immensely whether or not you get it vertical. So we don't want it leaning left and right, we don't want it leaning forward and back. What we want and how we're going to achieve that is a vertical hole drilled, and we do that often by having our elbow directly up above, so that when, even if we're holding the tool like this, when we go to push, the angle of our body doesn't change it. So elbow high, and you sit the drill bit in the marked cross and drill. Obviously you want to keep that winding while we pull the drill out as well. Then I can go to the countersink. Now the job of the countersink is that it provides a little funnel for the screw head to sit in, so that the screw head sits flush. We don't want it sitting up high or proud of the wood. We want it sitting down flush. So the depth that you do this countersink will be about, it will finish at about the width of that screw head. Okay, so you're going to put your goggles back on and check again that the countersink is spinning forwards, not backwards. And again, we want to sit it in that hole. Now, pushing down hard is not always as effective as doing a little bit of a circle with the drill in this process. So trigger on, and a combination of turning and pushing will drill out the countersink for you in the wood. Final thing then is to double check your plans, because when you come to the long parts, the drill holes don't go in the same place. They go here in the centre, and they don't go in all 4. Okay, they just go in 2 of your long legs. How do you find the centre? Well, you measure the full length of the wood, you halve that, and I happen to know on this project that half of that is 220. Sit your tri-square on, and again you're going to half the width. When you're marking out for a hole, you always mark out with a cross, never with a dot. It's too hard to aim at a dot. So we mark out with a cross, and your hole will go there in the centre and in the centre.